Today, Magic the Gathering's most popular format had cards get unbanned in it, 5 of them to be specific, with a few cards being added to their Game Changers list for the Commander format. I want to talk about the cards that were unbanned today. Gavin Verhey made this announcement today, and in the announcement, Gavin did say that unless there's a reason for an emergency ban, there will not be any bans in Commander for the remainder of the year. Likely next April will be the first time that there are more bans in Commander. They're still working on trying to figure out how the adaptation of things like brackets is working. So one card that, any card that I mentioned in this video has been added to the Game Changers list, so remember the bracket system. I am actually not a fan of the bracket system. But Gifts Ungiven, which costs 3 and a blue for an instant. Search your library for up to 4 cards with different names and reveal them. Target opponent chooses 2 of those cards, put the chosen cards into your graveyard and the rest into your hand, then of course shuffle. I think this card's pretty cool. 4 mana, you get 2 cards to your hand, you get 2 cards to the graveyard. If you're playing a blue-black graveyard recursion deck, it's just 4 cards, card advantage. If you're playing just a straight blue deck, you get 2 cards for 1. Plus, maybe you get the cards you want. Now, I think this card is totally fine to be unbanned. Now, I understand it being on the Game Changers list because it does tutor for 4 cards and there's no restriction to what they are. But it does take a lot of time to resolve, but there's a ton of other stuff that happens, and you choose the opponent. So this allows you to actually go and pick opponents that are helpful to you, potentially people with a similar strategy, somebody who you can help to maybe not win the game that turn for you, but maybe you can help them not lose the game or help them get into the game better by them helping you. I like this card. I really like this card. The next card is Sway of the Stars, which for some reason isn't actually showing up on the article, so I'm going to have to actually look that up. Wizards.com is down for maintenance. Sway of the Stars. It's from Betrayers of Kamigawa. 8 and 2 blue. Each player shuffles his or her hand, graveyard, and permanents he or she controls into his or her library, then draws 7 cards. Each player's life total becomes 7. So if you're playing this against an aggro deck, you're screwed. You're going to lose. If you're playing this against a control deck, you should be the control deck playing this. It's legal in Modern Legacy, Vintage Commander, Oathbreaker, and Penny. It is on the Commander Game Changer list. And this is not a bad card, but not a card I'd ever play. Because 10 mana in blue. Next is Braid's Cabal Minion. 2 black for a 2/2 legendary creature human minion. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player sacrifices an artifact, creature, or land. So if your opponent has no permanents other than lands, this can be a lot of problems for them. But late game, I think it's pretty cool. And that's the same thing that the Commander Committee says. Apparently it was banned in 2009, 16 years ago. The Commander is the one piece of information that everybody knows about your deck. And as part of the 99, I think it's totally cool. I would not want to sit down and play against this as a Commander, because you know what they're going to do turn 4. The only problem is that it's symmetrical. So yeah, I can see it being a really good Commander. But the symmetry causes the problems for you as a player. Playing it late game is pretty good, but I don't hate that. Coalition Victory! Coalition Victory. You have to control a basic land of each basic land type, so island, swamp, forest, mountain, plains. And you win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. 5-color creature and a couple of dual lands with card types, you're good. But it's a sorcery and it costs 3 Wooburg. 3 plus Wooburg, so 8 mana. I don't understand why this was ever banned in the first place. It's $9 now. Oh, wow. It is on the Game Changer list because it does say you win the game. I think anything that says you win the game should be on the Game Changer list. because it fundamentally changes the game. But I don't really hate this as a card coming back. Because it's 8 mana, you win the game. Craterhoof Behemoth is 8 mana, you win the game. It's like, I mean, unless you really fucked up. There are ways to fuck up a Craterhoof Behemoth, but yeah. That is an auto include in every 5-color deck. Like, I'm probably going to be making a 5-color deck later. Panoptic Mirror, imprint X. You may remove an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may copy an imprinted instant or sorcery card and play the copy without playing its mana cost. It's 5 mana to play it. So, yeah, okay. You're not going to imprint a counterspell, but you could imprint a Board Wipe. You could imprint Demonic Tutor. I feel like this card, at 5 mana plus the tap, is fine. I feel like it's fine to not be banned, but it definitely changes the game because you get to replay your powerful spells. Because remember, fundamentally, Commander is a singleton format. So other than your Commander, playing the same card more than once isn't really a thing you expect to do. And this essentially says, yeah, I'm going to play the spell multiple times. And I can do it with multiple different spells. So I don't love that, but I don't hate it either. They didn't unban Dockside, Jeweled Lotus, and Mana Crypt. They did say that Jeweled Lotus is most likely to be the one that is to return. Oh, I'm seeing this. It's Emrakul. Might be coming back to bracket 3 and above. The Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. I don't think that's a good idea. Grizzlebrand. Look, Grizzlebrand is more likely than not to remain on the ban list because you could potentially draw 28 or 35 cards and just end the game. Yeah. They're saying Nadu is unlikely to return. Paradox Engine, prime time. Now is not the time. They're saying no Prophet of Krufix. Lots of cards that they're looking for. They're asking for Tolarian Academy feedback. I don't think Tolarian Academy should come back. But there is a guy who basically bought up almost every Tolarian Academy, thinking that it would come back, and yeah, I don't know if that's the greatest idea in the world. I would not want to play against Tolarian Academy. Heck, I barely like playing against Gaia's Cradle, and that's really only in green decks. So that's fun. I play mostly Commander. I'm thinking about getting back into 60-card Magic when I have some more money. Probably next year will be when I do it. When I buy a bunch of sets, buy a standard deck, like net deck a standard deck, and just buy it and then go to some tournaments and stuff. But I'm probably going to play 40-card Magic first. Lots of drafts coming up that I want to do, especially with Dragonstorm. I want to get into a couple of those. And I'm also trying to do a couple of the Final Fantasy drafts. But I don't hate the Commander ban list. Unban/ban list. I'm glad that they didn't ban any new cards. I feel like banning any new cards would have been horrible. So, yeah. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget, you can follow me on Patreon, on Cameo, on Instagram, on TikTok, and you can email me at my business email for any inquiries.